Ladies and gentlemen, we are in Cincinnati, Ohio, Clifton to be exact, and I'm with singer-songwriter Mr. Brent James, and we're going to Mike's Music to have a little interview today and discussion, talk about music and all kinds of things. Let's go on in, brother. Oh, wow, yeah. Hell yeah, man.
The land of dreams.
You see anything you like, man?
Everything.
Yeah, all right, let's go check it out. Dude, my man. Good
What's
to
up,
see you, brother.
Thanks for having me, man.
Oh, man, thanks for doing this. It's been a while.
Appreciate it.
Dude, I may have told you the story before, and if I have, I'm going to tell you again about the first time we met. Did I ever tell you that?
I don't think so.
Okay, so well, first of all, let me back up. I knew who you were. I was a fan of yours, and I, saw you guys on YouTube and hit Spotify, and we were doing a festival together. My band at the time and your band, like out in Indiana, one of those summertime festivals, and it was Brent James and your band and my band. So anyway, we get out there. It's a hot summer day, and we play, and I was all jazzed up. I'm like, oh man! So you got the tour bus out there, and we're just like a local cover band. I was like, oh man! It was super cool, great gig. You and I got chatting it up, man, and I was like, okay, this guy's cool as hell, man. So long story short, we're hanging out, bullshitting backstage, and either I don't remember exactly this part. Either you wanted to leave, or you had to wait for the bus or something. And you're like, man, I don't want to wait around. I'm like, well, where do you live? And you told me where you live. I'm like, dude, we're pretty much neighbors. So I was like, I'll give you a ride home. You're like,
oh,
right. So yeah, I gave you a ride home.
You gave me a ride home that night.
Well,
That's
here's
right.
here's the part I didn't tell you. So it was like a 45-minute drive, man. And so, again, hot summer night.
Yeah.
I stopped at like the local Speedway or something. I was like, you want something to drink? You're like, nah, I'm cool, bro. I go and I get like the trucker size crack cocaine filled, whatever I'm drinking, styrofoam. And I come and I put it in my lap, and we're driving home, and I go to take that first drink, man. And I just feel wetness. I must have hit like a hole in a cup. And now I'm sitting like a lake of just liquid. And I'm trying to be cool, man, because I just met you for the first time. Like, this guy's super cool. I rode home in a puddle, just sitting in a seat of water, man, and trying to be all cool.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I wish I would have known that. I would have given you my shirt.
I know. So anyway, that's my first introduction with you, man, but definitely not my last. So how you been, brother?
I've been good.
Yeah.
Man, what'd you say?
I'm doing good.
Awesome.
So you've been spending a lot of time in Nashville, right?
Yeah, I've been going down, trying to think, let's see, I've been trying to go down every month for a week. This, obviously, we're coming out of summer, and as you know, summer is a busy time for shows, so haven't been down in the past couple months. But what are we in October now? So starting in November, I'm going to be going back down there.
So do you actually have a publishing deal?
Yeah, I have a pub deal with BMG.
Okay.
So I go down, and they're cool enough to let me come in and use the writing rooms and write with other artists and other writers.
So that's kind of fascinating to me, because it's a lot of people like myself at one point was like, I just love to get a publishing deal and write music, because that's what it's kind of all about. It's like just writing, and especially nowadays, which I want to ask you about your thoughts on the music scene later in the music business. But I mean, I think it's a dream come true for a lot of singer-songwriters like yourselves that they get to write and interact with all these other musicians, especially in Nashville,
Totally.
The place to be. So you're having a great experience doing it? I mean, what's your overall take of doing it so far?
I absolutely love it. It's been one of those things that I didn't really realize that I would like writing for other people, or like, oh, what's this dude's vibe?
Yeah.
Like looking people up before I write with them, and just kind of finding out like what they're all about as an artist has been really fun and rewarding, and has just kind of like worked a different muscle that, usually when you're writing, like I write a lot of stuff by myself.
Yeah.
I love to write by myself. Co-writing is something that is definitely new to me. But co-writing with an artist is really, really fun. And co-writing just with writers, just coming up with stuff just to add to your catalog is cool too.
It's a job, right? I mean, it's hard work.
Yeah.
When somebody says, hey, write a song, it's hard to force that magic, right?
It is, for sure.
But I'm sure you develop that craft over time. Like you get better at it, right?
Yeah, I think so. If you do something every day, you tend to get better at it.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm the greatest songwriter by any means, but
you're pretty damn good, man.
Oh, thanks, man. But do it every day, and do anything every day, and probably get better and better and better at it.
That's
so
cool.
I kind of try to go with that philosophy.
Yeah, and I want to talk to you more about like that in a second. But I want to backtrack even further. So you grew up in Michigan, is that correct?
Yeah.
Whereabouts?
Christmas capital, baby. Which camera are we looking at here? Chris, Frankenmuth there. You know, Frankenmuth, Michigan. Yeah, that's where I grew up. You know, Christmas chicken and beer. It's about maybe 20 minutes north of Flint, Michigan. 25 minutes north of Flint.
Right on.
I think, from what I remember from driving down to the Genesee Mall when I was a youngster in high school in my beat-up Jeep. Yeah. It's about, I think maybe like an hour and 20 north of Detroit, if you just know where Detroit's at.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard of it once or twice.
Yeah.
But I actually called you this summer. We were vacationing up in up near the UP.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
it's so beautiful. And you were telling me you got to spend a lot of time up there. And you're
Yeah.
like, hey, man, stop by my parents' house, which we almost did, but we never made it out to the
Yeah,
dunes.
you have to next time.
But I think, man, what a just beautiful place to grow up, right? And I'm always fascinated. I ask everybody like about their upbringing because I think that's when you kind of, your roots are sort of implemented into you as what you want to do. At least for like musicians, athletes. You know,
Yeah.
It's like you know early on that's what you want to do. I mean, nobody decides at 24 years old they want to become a rock star, a musician, or an athlete.
Exactly.
You know early on.
Yeah.
So obviously, same for you. But what got you into music, man?
I think I was really into sports first. I played a lot of basketball and, ran track and was all about that for, good Lord, maybe till I was like 15, 14. And then I kind of just even before that, I was really into just old school rap. I guess considered old school rap.
So that's
now,
your first form of music?
Yeah, and I think that for me it was like just I love words. I love wordplay. I love I'm always listening to what people say and trying to find like that turn of phrase.
Yeah.
And that's like in Nashville. That's kind of what you got to do. Is find that interesting way to say something different. That hasn't been said the regular way a million times. And I feel like Too Short and Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg and like all those guys back in the day, Ice Cube and a lot of that stuff. And then we could even go really deep with like some real underground hip hop that I used to listen to. But like those dudes they're great at that,
Masters, right?
Yeah, they are. And there's a lot of, for me anyway, maybe some people won't agree with me and that's cool too. But for me, there is definitely a parallel between, country music and, hip hop music and just saying things in a different way that
Absolutely.
You're like, wait, what'd he say? Oh, damn,
Clever
cool,
ways
the
to
way
say
that
it.
he said that, yeah.
And it's so funny because, there's two types of people listen to music. I listen to the music, and then there's so many people that are all about the lyrics.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because I'm a guitar player or whatever, but I just find it interesting, that some people won't listen to a song because of the lyrics. I'm like, well, if I like the melody and the groove, it's cool. But you're obviously more of a lyric guy.
I'm not. I was just going to say.
Oh, really?
I'm not. My wife, dude, I'll play a song for her and she will be like, well, why did you say this here? And why did you say that there? And how come you didn't say that there?
Critic.
Shouldn't you say? And I love it. I'm like, yeah, okay. Yeah, all right, let's.
It's good to get that feedback, isn't it?
100%. She's great at it too. I always joke with her. I'm like, you should have been an A&R person. But I 100% I've got to feel it first. I 100% have to feel it first. I love, there was nothing better than in high school getting in my Jeep Wagoneer and it had a cheap sub in the back that my buddy wired up, and it's like, dude, you can feel it,
right, right.
You can feel
doing
that.
the Detroit lean, maybe.
Yeah, dog.
Right?
Yeah.
All right.
It was amazing to just to be able to feel music, but then you understand that all right, if you want to make a living at this, you need to think about what you're saying. Early bands, good God, I'll listen back to stuff that early stuff that we recorded on a DAT, in my parents' basement.
There you go, yeah.
Be like, oh my gosh, I hope that would never see the light of day. That is awful, but you got to start somewhere.
Yep.
So
first band, always got to ask. What was the name of your first band?
First band, we were called Ocean Soul.
Okay.
Spelled S-O-L.
Very clever.
Shit out of luck. No, I'm just kidding.
So you were in high school when that happened, or what, man?
Yeah, I was a sophomore, I think, in high school.
Okay.
Yeah, we were at a house party, and a couple of my friends just had acoustic guitars, and they were playing some stuff. And what was the song? I'm trying to think. I was really into Blind Melon. Still am. One of the greatest bands ever, I think.
Yep.
Blind Melon, legendary band. But I think somebody like went into No Rain or something, the guitar player did, and, you know, Shannon Hoon's voice is crazy high, and, you know, I was like trying to hit that note all awful, I'm sure, out on this back deck that we were on, and I was, you know, I maybe sang a few things right, and they're like, oh, dude, that's cool, you know, like, I think the music is too, like, a lot of it is having people in the beginning be, you know, you could be like mediocre, but if you have people around you that are like giving you the confidence to continue on and, you know, to continue trying, you know, I think that that's an important thing that's, you know, maybe overlooked.
You are
know,
who you
like
surround yourself with, right?
Yeah, totally.
Even
so,
at a young age.
Yeah, there was a couple
Just bunch of
buddies
dummies,
on the
you know.
back deck were like, I was like, oh, really? Okay, cool. And then, you know, I was like, we should start a band, you know, and then you just, you know, the snowball gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And then you end up quitting track your junior year, you know, and like you're only in a band. And
It's kind of funny how that happens.
Yeah, it is.
Once you get that bug, you're on it for life, right?
It's true. It's a very scary thing to be bitten by. It is. But it's, you know, it's been amazing and fun, so.
You are an epitome of a working musician, right? So, you know, you got your band. I know you do some solo acoustic stuff around Cincinnati and greater Cincinnati.
Yeah.
You go to Nashville, you're touring, you're writing music. Again, the epitome of a working musician. What's your take on that? Like, what do you think nowadays a working musician means? What does it feel like to be a working musician?
Nowadays,
Yeah.
working musician is somebody sitting in their studio at home putting stuff up on TikTok and getting a deal. You know, that's something, as you know, which is crazy. The
thing.
music, you know, my buddy and I were talking about it the other day. Like the music business is just continually changing. So, yeah, it's really weird. Like you could sit at home and upload covers to YouTube and TikTok and, you know, make a living at it, which I think is awesome. I think it's great. You know, like, you know, however you can express your art in any way and be current, go for it. You know, when I was growing up, it was slugging it out in clubs and bars and, you know, singing through hazy, smoky rooms in some weird little town, you know, and that's cool too, and that's fun too.
You know, I did the same thing. Wouldn't trade that for the world, though, man. And I think a lot of, I don't know, the younger people coming up maybe don't get to experience that as much. I don't know how they can.
Yeah. I think
just a different scene, right?
I think that, you know, some of the artists that are getting signed, you know, from a big viral TikTok or a big viral YouTube song that they put up and then they get a deal, like, I think that maybe some of them might be getting thrown to the wolves a little bit when it comes to like, okay, get on stage, you know, but wait, I only played in my room, you know, like, definitely something to be said for woodshedding it and, you know, rehearsal, and then getting out and, you know, like Dave Grohl famously said, sucking, you know, like you have to suck, you know, and learn those things and learn how to deal with a heckler or somebody that's like, you know, giving you crap when you're, you know, pouring your heart out on stage, you know.
Yeah. So tell me how many records you've done.
Oh, Lord. Of other bands that I've been in, or just my own
the Brent
stuff?
James and your
Okay,
band.
just-
Because I was on Spotify doing a
Yeah.
little deep dive yesterday on some of that stuff.
Yeah, we've put out, let's see, I had, you know, Moment of Silence, that record that I did with Skid Mills down in Nashville. We did that album first, I think, under just my name, Brent James and the Contraband. And then, trying to think what else we did after that. I've put out, like, I think we did another full length after that, and we maybe have 4 or 5 EPs out now, I think. I can't remember. I should know these.
You should know
answers
these
off
things,
the top
man.
of my head. I should know them, but yeah, they're definitely out there. So
But obviously, people can find your music wherever music is available, correct?
wherever it's available, yeah.
We're in
All the streamers.
We're in Clifton,
Yeah.
so I have a feeling we might be able to walk outside and find it, you know, for sale on the back of somebody's station wagon or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Are you guys out touring at all right now?
No, we are not. I've been doing a lot of stuff just in Nashville, just kind of spending a lot of time down there as much as humanly possible. But we, you know, it's one of those things that, you know, you get a run with somebody or you get an offer to go out and do a run with somebody and you're like, oh, hey, you guys want to go do this? You know, this is what we're making. Let's go and throw it against the wall and see
And
if
you've
it
done some
sticks.
cool shows. I mean, I see you hang out with some pretty cool rock stars.
Yeah, I've
What are
been
some cool tours? Give me some of your favorite tours.
Oh, Lord. The Ted Nugent tour that we did was really cool. I think that was the longest one that I've ever done. God bless my wife, because we had just had a baby and I had to leave for a long time. Yeah, we did that one. That was really fun to go out with him. He was great. Just, hearing all those old songs,
Yeah, man.
every night was cool. Did some dates with Alice Cooper and Chris Daughtry, done some stuff with him. Cadillac 3 guys are great. Candlebox, one of my favorite bands of all time.
Yeah, I see you getting up on stage and singing with those guys.
Oh
That
my
sounds
gosh,
awesome.
yes,
What a
yes.
rush that must be.
Dude,
Like, because you're in high school.
don't even get me started.
Okay, let's
Yeah.
talk about that real quickly. So, like, you're in high school, and I'm a bit older. Surprise, right? But you're listening to those late '90s bands, early 2000s, probably late '90s at that point. I'm sure Candlebox was at the top of the charts when you were kind of getting into music, right?
Yeah.
Like
So
that?
when I made the transition from like listening to tapes and dubbed tapes that my buddy would dub for me, like all the stuff I should not have been listening to at that age. When I made the transition from tapes to CDs, one of the first albums that I bought, if not the first, was the self-titled Candlebox record,
yeah,
which
man.
I think came out in like 91 or 92. And
Was that the big hit on it?
yeah, like You,
yeah,
and
yeah.
Far Behind,
Yeah,
cover
yeah.
the whole record is amazing.
Right on.
But I actually have told Kevin this. I have vivid memories of laying in my best friend's sister's bed while she was gone that night. And I just remember I had my CD player and I was listening to that whole Candlebox record and just being like, oh my gosh. Like, this was before I even like tried to sing in a band, and just being like, dude, this dude's voice is absolutely amazing. Just the mix of the record just really spoke to me. So that was kind of one of the things that like got me into rock and roll, was like, not moving away from rap music and hip hop, like, always have, I love that stuff, but, it was like, okay, like there's other genres out
Yep.
there for you to check out and listen to. And then you start thinking like, well, how do you get into a band? How do you write music? How do you come up with these things? So
But back, because I don't want to lose that point. I'm sorry to cut you off. But
Yeah,
like,
no.
how cool is that to be laying in your bed listening to that stuff, like just dreaming about it, and then years later you're a peer, you're on stage, singing those songs. Is it surreal?
if somebody would have told me that then when I was there listening to that in the dark by myself, I would have been like, what? How? There's no way.
Yeah.
How am I going to do that? But yeah, Kevin
cool as hell.
is just an awesome dude, and his voice is just massive, and he just, he kills it every single night, and it's super cool. And he's been cool enough to like let me hang out and be around and rip shows with him. We've done some dates with him, and he's just a great guy, and lets me, just getting up on stage. I think there's a video of that on YouTube at the
we'll put some
Mercury
links up.
Ballroom.
Yeah, we'll put some
Mercury
links up
Ballroom
for
in
sure.
Louisville, I think, is where we did that.
And man, this place is freaking awesome. So I think we should probably get a couple guitars. I'd love to hear one of your songs. Maybe you and me jam a little bit. What's that sound like to you?
Legendary place, yeah. Let's do it.
Let's find some guitars. All right. So we're gonna check out one of your tunes, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. What's this one called, dude?
This is called Just Fine.
All right. I'm gonna follow
Moving
you.
away from home, man. So there I was. Yeah, she looked me in the eye. Said, what you gonna do with your life? Why don't you even try? Well, mama dear, I'm moving out of here. I got a beat to have. Old Jeep wagon in, and I was 18 years old. Yeah, we'll be just fine. Yeah, I will be just fine if I let it on the line. Yeah, I will be just fine.
I follow my heart out to the East Coast. I met a girl who's an artist. Yeah, she doesn't even know. Well, mama dear, I'm moving out of here. I gotta beat to hell. Oh, G wagon in, and we were 20 years old, dancing on top of the world. Yeah, we'll be just fine. Yeah, I will be just fine if I let it on the line. Yeah, I will be just fine.
Dude, this is like a Gibson 1930, I think it's a 30s, L30. This thing's pretty sweet. I'm having trouble keeping the tune. And yeah, it's for sale here at Mike's Music. But we got to play a little blues since you got your harp and I got this old Gibson.
Hit it. Should have said mirror staring at a broken clown.
Good stuff, buddy. Got to ask you one more question, man. I keep hearing about this Jimmy Page story in our circle, and I've never asked you, so I'm going to ask you now. And hopefully you can tell it on camera.
Yeah, I can.
Doesn't involve fishing. You know.
Yes, you've read the book.
I've read the book.
Yeah, I went out to the Grammys in 2006, and I went to the Staples Center. I think it was a pre-party or after party. I can't remember which one, but they were honoring Amit Ertegun, the founder of Atlantic Records. And, you know, it was just like, you know, I'm in the basement of the Staples Center wandering around and, you know, everybody's down there, you know. Mark McGrath from Sugar Ray is over there. Jason Flom's over there. There's a bunch of people, you know, hanging out. And I'm standing there and I was talking to my manager at the time in Kid Rock, and there was somebody else. I can't remember who else was standing with us, but we were standing down there having a chat, and I looked out of the corner of my eye, and I saw a gentleman walking towards me with someone else, and he was walking down. They had this long buffet line, and he was walking with this guy, and the dude was like putting stuff on a plate for this person. And I could, you know, you can just kind of tell when you're in that environment, you know, people hanging out and, you know, people were coming up to him and I was like, okay, who's this guy? And as he gets closer, I could see that it was Jimmy Page.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, oh my gosh, dude, like this is insane. You know, like Jimmy Page is right in front of me. This is madness. So I just told myself, like, when else am I going to have this opportunity to say what's up to Jimmy Page? So I was like, I have to just go and say hello, you know. For me, he's definitely one of my top 3 guitar players, of course. So I went up to him and I just said, excuse me, Mr. Page, how's it going? And I really don't get starstruck. I just, you know, but he's just at that level of like,
I get it.
You know, there's nothing that needs to be said. You get it, you know, if you're in music, you get it. So even if you're not in music. So Yeah, so I said, excuse me, Mr. Page, and I just wanted to say what's up, and say thanks for the music, and don't mean to interrupt or whatever. And he turned to me and was like, oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Are you having a good time? Sorry, my accent's awful. It's
pretty good, actually.
And I froze in that moment. And I just kind of stood there and nodded. I always think back to the movie The Christmas Story when he's just how about a football, and he's the kid's yeah. And I just kind of nodded and said thanks, or I don't even think I said thanks, and then I just kind of walked away. And I'm I probably could have stood there. He was very open and engaging, and I probably could have had a little chat with him, but I was just so I thought that the guy that he was with was going to be get away, it's Jimmy Page,
right.
And he wasn't like that at all. He was just, so open and warm and so cool. But yeah, I got to have that, maybe 20 to 30 seconds with one of my heroes.
As big as it gets.
The funny thing is about that is that when I got back to my hotel room, it was the weirdest thing because I didn't want to wash my hand. I shook his hand, and it was you could feel, you almost felt like there was magic from just being in the dude's presence and what he's put out into the world.
You were ready to write the next Kashmir, right?
Yeah.
And I will say this, had you stuck around, talked to him a little more, and got up the courage, right? You might have been his pool boy, been in the next singer in his band, anything, man, right? But you never know. That's how things happen in life.
Endless possibilities.
Yeah, that's a great story. That's a great story to end on, man. And I can't thank you enough. This has been an awesome time.
I love you, brother.
We'll
Thanks
see
for
you
having
soon.
me, man. Appreciate it.
And man, thank you to Mike at Mike's Music. This place is amazing. It's world famous. They have, go to their online store and check it out. They have 2 locations, but this place is freaking amazing.
He has the coolest.
Yeah, I mean, he was
coolest.
Before
His
you got
eye
here,
is absolutely amazing.
Before you got here, he was telling me about Vernon Reed came in the other day and bought some guitar. I mean, Jimmy Pages of the world come in this place and buy guitars. So anyway, we go on forever, dude. Thanks again, Brent. I want to thank you one more time. Thank you.
Right back at
thank you
you,
guys for watching. We're talking about the rhythm of life. Check it out, the Music Salon YouTube page. Love you guys. If you want me to just do the harp a little bit, and I'll do some chords.
Sure.
Whatever you're feeling.
If you guys want to sparse some of that in and whatever works.
Yeah. And then I'd love to get you doing maybe one of your originals.
Cool.
A little bit of it. Okay. Well, you want to come grab a couple guitars? Where's the most expensive guitar? We'll take those. Yeah, that's the one I don't want.